Let's do the intro now.
Okay.
So we're going to be looking at Squad. This is specifically going to be the Fallujah map. So should be pretty interesting. Jason here's had a little experience in Fallujah, so I think you guys are going to get some good insight on this this operation from Squad.
Yeah, looking forward to it. All you guys and all your comments about this game, specifically this map. You know, I was in Fallujah in 2004, so hearing that Squad has made a map based on that operation, I got pretty excited about this one. So looking forward to this review myself.
Got all wet.
A little bit.
All right, so we got moving through the city here. Pop up.
I like the map already.
Yeah.
Pretty detailed map.
Moving through a market.
So we're looking at Karma Cut and his gameplay.
His gameplay.
So shout out to Karma Cut. Karma Cut.
Karma Coot. I don't know how you say his name, but yeah, Karma Coot.
Carmen San Diego.
So it looks like he's moving through a little closed up market. So if you guys don't know too, in the operation in Fallujah, prior to the U.S. military going in there, they did a bunch of leaflet drops and they did a bunch of announcements around the city and basically said, if you are not interested in getting into a fight with the U.S. military, get out of the city. The whole point was to remove any non-combatants from the city. So we knew this was going to be a heavy urban combat. It was going to be pretty dangerous, pretty difficult slog through the city, and they wanted to remove as many non-combatants as possible prior to the U.S. military going in there and, you know, injuring anybody that we didn't have to. So them moving through the city and you seeing everything closed up, they're going through that market. In the middle of the day in a market in the Middle East should be
jam-packed.
Hundreds of people. Yeah, that's where the center of freaking commerce is, and the whole fact that the city's empty is 100% legit.
Yeah. So I was, like I said, I was there. So he's 100% right. They dropped these leaflets. So PSYOPs was the name of the unit that's doing it. So psychological warfare. They dropped these little leaflets, just paper that said exactly that. Like, we're coming into the city. If basically, if you're gonna be there, we're gonna take you out. So you just saw mass hordes of women and children leaving, thousands of people leaving the city, and it was a pretty big city. So there were two major operations. The first one, which I was a big part of that one, was Operation Vigilant Resolve. And the second big one was when they actually took the city, and that was in November 2004, and that was called Operation Phantom Fury. So I was there for the first operation, and it was no joke. I mean, that city was, I was like looking to the gates of hell. I mean, there was one major highway that went around the east side and went around to the north side. So we were on the north side and the south side. I mean, it was nuts. It was fucking nuts.
Yeah, pretty large joint operation too between the Marine Corps, the Army, huge JSOC contingent in there, so tons of special operations guys. You had the British in there, so big U.S. multinational operation. So, you know, tons of guys running around, and it really takes a lot of working together and a lot of communication for these guys to not have a lot of friendly fire incidents. You know, you don't want to be shooting at your British buddies to your left or right, or any of the Army guys. So, but a pretty big deal. But so looking across this map and you see how it's empty, the only people that should be sticking their stupid heads up is the bad guys. So
the amount of bombs that were dropped. I mean, I remember being in this house and seeing, like, literally across the street, catty corner, a 500-pound bomb from an F-18 come in and just level this building. It was nuts. So April 7th of 2004, my platoon, I was with 1st Recon at the time, we got hit really hard by like 60 bad guys on the way to somewhere else, long story short. We got hit by off to the right flank. So it was a pretty bad deal. They smacked the first vehicle with an RPG. A really good friend of mine lost both of his arms. My captain was shot and killed, Captain Brent Morrell. So if you Google Brent Morrell, it'll tell you more about the story. So he was smoked. He jumped out of the Humvee, ran across a ditch, and there was a bad guy sitting there squatting, got him right in the chest, right above the SAPI plate. And I was the 4th out of 5 vehicles from the lead vehicle. So it was a crazy day. It was a very highly decorated engagement. I think there were 4 silver stars and 5 or 6 or 7 Purple Hearts and a Navy Cross or 2. I mean, it was a nutty day. There was only 22 of us and like 60 plus of them. I think we killed 33 bad guys. So it was a fucking nutty day. Sadly, one of our own didn't make it back. So.
Until you had that Anbar awakening and you had the tribes actually turn on the bad guys and start helping the United States, it just was this slow simmering burn where, hey, it's jihad time, and every single chucklehead in the Middle East that had a freaking turban on wanted to come out and fight the United States, and so it just continued to build and build and build, and all these cells from every freaking bad guy in the Middle East, they just continue to come out to the Iraq. That was the place to go. Hey, you want to come out and kill Americans? You want to kill coalition forces? This is the place to go. And it just got worse and worse and worse. And until you had the population turn on these guys and start actually working with us, it just continued to get worse every month or so. It just got worse and worse, like you said, the Iranians getting involved, and kind of crazy, but...
Because during the invasion of Iraq, there wasn't a lot of IEDs, and then 04 is when IEDs turned on, actually during my deployment. The first 6 months of 2004, from February on, we started seeing IEDs, and at that time they were command detonated. They were wired, basically old munitions from the Iraqi military buried. And they would start connecting them, and they called them daisy chains. So you get 7 or 8 110, 105s, and just lighting convoys. I mean, it was fucking nuts. And piggybacking off my earlier story about the ambush I was in, the History Channel actually did a segment about us, an hour-long segment about that ambush, and they talk about the whole day. So we'll insert the link to that History Channel episode, but forgot the name of it, but we'll put it in there. I just watched it for the first time actually. A month ago. So it's pretty crazy. He interviewed a lot of guys from my platoon.
So this is kind of interesting. He's dragging his buddy away. Is the guy still alive, or what's going on? This is kind of interesting where he's gonna actually, no.
I don't know what's going on there.
Looks like a pressure dressing.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. So
cool
looks
concept,
like he's required to, he's holding the pressure dressing in place.
We're gonna double neutral.
Oh. That's it. I guess that was him down below. Looks like the guy. That was kind of cool. And that was the thing, too. The
whole map is a shooting gallery.
Advancements in medical care through the stuff that the military learned was huge throughout. I mean, the use of pressure dressings and tourniquets, and I even carried some fake blood. You guys can Google Hemopure or another company called BioPure. We actually had 250 cc's of shelf-stable bovine-based blood.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that we would use it was total test stuff. The U.S. Navy had a contract with these guys from BioPure.
This shit work?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's still on the market, but actually initially it was only used for veterinary use. But we would use that a lot for, not a lot, but instead of, throwing on a tourniquet and giving them, lactated ringers or D5W, which is dextrose and water, having to give them an IV, I could give somebody freaking blood or a blood-based product that's going to actually carry oxygen and shelf stable at 100 plus degrees, didn't have to keep it cool or anything like that. It was just the medical advancements used during, wartime are huge. It was awesome, but yeah. So it's really cool to see somebody using a freaking pressure dressing on this. Pretty realistic, obviously. Pressure dressings, tourniquets. I mean, that and armor saved more lives than probably anything in the history of warfare.
Out on the mosque.
Little HC smoke to cover their or conceal their movement.
So the first unit I was with before I went to recon on the Raider route was 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines, Lima Company at the time. So I was Line Platoon Grunts. I was a basic 0311. And I left while we did a deployment pre-war, 2002. I tried out for recon on this deployment. So as soon as we got back, I got orders to 1st Recon to go try out to go through their school to become a recon Marine. But that same unit, those first 2 years of my time in the Marine Corps, those guys are the ones that took down Fallujah and Phantom Fury in 2004. And still very tight with these guys. And the stories they fucking told me about this, about the takedown of the city is fucking nuts. I'm talking, guys going into a building and the first entryway, there's like, it's all tile, right? There'd be a giant hole dug in the middle of this hallway with a machine gun at the bottom, say like in the kitchen or the hallway. I remember another story at the end of the hallway, there was, at the very end of it, there was a bunch of sandbags and there was a little hole and there was a machine gun. They're just laying Marines out that are coming through the fucking door. So the enemy at this point, they were pretty fucking spot on. Like Fallujah was no joke. It wasn't an easy takedown by any means. Lots of Marines fucking died. Really the start of Fallujah was when, and I was there at the same time as when the two or three contractors died. One of them was a prior SEAL.
Yep, they got hung on the bridge.
Hung on the bridge. Forgot his name. They worked
Keith
for
something Erickson or something like that. Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot his name, but that was the turning point when
they were Blackwater contractors and they were in a light-skinned truck
they were
with no armor.
delivering mail.
Yep.
And they got killed and publicly drugged through the streets, and the video got back to the United States, and that's kind of the turning point when the U.S. was like, all right, we're fucking taking this city down.
Yeah.
So
that was a long operation, and it's again, we're talking about, and here you see the city's empty, and that's the thing, is that from the time that we were talking about, they dropped the leaflets until the coalition went in. It was a pretty long time to get out of the city. Gave them a lot of time, and that's the downside with that was these guys, the Al Qaeda, the different guys that are in there for their little jihad had a ton of time to set up in the city, create all those areas where, I think we talked about this in another video where we called the doorways, windows are called fatal funnel.
Yep.
And they completely turned it into that. When you've got your only entry point basically is a doorway, and you've got everybody that's got to go through that, you've got to go through there. But that's when it got to the point where we're just going to bring in a tank and just end this place, or satchel charges. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going straight to move.
So pretty intense.
Yeah. All right, the
That's
next
aggressive.
You're gonna take it right.
That's aggressive.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the Fallujah map from Squad. I hope you guys enjoyed some of the background on this a little bit, and make sure you give us a follow and subscribe to Savage Actual.
what he said.